As you can see, my knees are slightly bent. They're gonna stay like that the whole time. Now I'm gonna push my hips back as further as I can. Once you get to your knee, all right, you're gonna throw your hips back and you're gonna bend your knees a little bit more. So deadlift setup, the two variations, whether you're trying to hit your hamstrings or your glutes, all right, and the execution. Depending on what setup you have, whether you have the long arms or whether you have it hooked up on the actual bar like this one right here, all right, you're gonna wanna set it up to where you don't have to bend too low to actually unrack it, especially when you start getting used to going heavy. All right, so as you can see, this is literally just me going down just a little bit, lifting it up enough to where it clears, taking a step back. Now, as you can see, I have switch grip here. You could do both hands overhand or switch grip. You cannot do both hands underhand, all right? Nobody does a deadlift like that. So your feet are gonna be about shoulder width, maybe slightly outside your shoulder width apart, all right? And then the setup is you're gonna slightly bend your knees, okay? And as you start to go down and it's literally dragging against my thigh, once it gets to the knees, all right, you're almost gonna learn to lock your lower back. There's no longer lower back being utilized here. It's all either hamstring or glutes. I'm gonna demonstrate a stiff leg, which is more hamstring right here. So as you can see, my knees are slightly bent. They're gonna stay like that the whole time. Now I'm gonna push my hips back as further as I can. This is as low as I can go. This is as low as I can go when my hamstrings are fully stretched. Once I unlock my lower back, look what happens. All right, so you have to learn how to do the deadlift if your intention is to hit your hamstring or glute. So the next one is glute. This is an RDL. Same concept as far as dragging it down your thighs. I mean, you don't have to necessarily drag it down your thighs. You see people put chalk on your thighs. That's the right way to do it, but you can be slightly outside of it. All right, but the cue is once you get to your knee, all right, you're gonna throw your hips back and you're gonna bend your knees a little bit more. All right, the further away your glutes are from the actual weight that's being distributed, which is something called a moment arm, the more glute activation it is. If you slightly bend your knees and leave them locked in like that the whole time, which is more stiff leg, it's gonna be more hamstring. So again, you're gonna come down right around here, and this is an RDL, which is more glute focused. All right, look what happens. And I'm gonna move the camera right now and give you a side angle so you can see it as well. All right, I'm gonna demonstrate both an RDL and a stiff leg. All right, so look what happens from the hip down. All right, stiff leg first. Again, same setup. You're gonna come down right here and then throw your hips back. You don't bend your knees, you just throw your hips back. All right, you're gonna feel your hamstring stretch all the way. RDL. All right, slightly bend your knees. Once you get to your knee, you're gonna throw your hips back, but you're also gonna bend your knees a little bit. This is more glute, okay? Don't come up and thrust, unless if you have to come up and take a quick rest pause. You wanna keep the tension on the glutes or the hamstring, all right? You're gonna come to the very bottom, and right before you lock your hip out, you're gonna go right back down. Remember, this is more for hypertrophy purposes, building muscle, not necessarily for strength. Strength training is a whole different deadlift. So those are the techniques behind the stiff leg and the RDL.